Alrighty. In this one, like last, the decrease one, it's kind of the same concept. Like you're gonna make it's just backwards. This one's gonna be making your project bigger, where that one made it smaller. Obviously, because you're adding stitches. But for this one, I'm not gonna keep it because I already have one pink mices, but we call it a pig now. And yes, the girls have been really enjoying it because it looks more like a pig than a mouse. So they've been enjoying their pig. But anyway, I'm not going to be keeping this one because they don't need two of them. I need to make another mouse for Coke because she stole a yarn from me. So I'm going to make a mouse out of that for her, but I'm going to do that eventually. Anyway, off track there. I've already added stitches to this, like I did in the other one, but not as many. Like, I added, I think there's 10 here. Just because I wanted to, start with something and not have to fight with the beginning couple rows. And I figure, you've already got your project on your needle and you're, like, ready to do the increase part. But again, just like the decrease thing, you want it, the side that you increase on, you want that to be the back side of whatever you're making. So it's not going to be the front side. It's not like as noticeable, I don't think, as the decreases, but you still want it to be in the back, just in case. But yeah, you don't want to do it on the edges either, just like the decreases, because again, it'll look kind of funny. So I'm just going to do 2, but do whatever your pattern tells you. And for this, there's 2 different ways I'm going to show you how to do. But the first way is you knit like a normal knit stitch, but leave the stitch that you just did on the needle. Like, don't do what you normally do and slide it off. Leave it on. And try and put it through the back side. So try and put it through the back side of the stitch that you just did. So you're knitting 2 stitches in one. And then knit just like normal, except it's on the same one. And then just pull it off. And I'm going to do all the way till there's 3 left. And then show you how to do it on another one so both sides match. Okay, now there's 3. Again, you do a normal knit. Just a normal one, but don't pull this stitch off. Knit in the back of it. And then you can pull it off. And then knit the last 2. And now you have 2 more stitches than you did at the beginning of the row. So I'm going to knit this side so I make it back onto the other end. So I'll be right back. I'm back on the other side now. Now I have 12 stitches on here versus 10 that I started with because I added 2 on that row. That's the easiest way for me to do it, just because it's like you just knit, except you knit 1 stitch or however many you're increasing per row twice. It's very easy to do. It's easier to increase for me than it is to decrease, plus I think it looks better. But yeah, I'm going to do increase again. So I did 2, and then you just knit like a normal stitch. Oops, I took it off. Put it back on, because you don't want it off. But go in the back of that same stitch. Like, when you're knitting, you knit the front side, but you're going to knit the back half for the add. And now you can take it off. I'm going to do the rest till I get to 3. Be right back. Okay. Again, it's very, very hard to show. But just knit the normal way, and don't take it off the hook or the needle like I just did. So it looks like that. Like you have the one that you just did, but this stitch is still on the needle. And then you go into the back side of it. So hopefully you can figure that out, because it is easy. This is the easiest way to do it. And then just make sure it's obviously the back side. of your project again, and then just knit or do whatever your pattern is on the other side, and just make sure all your increases are on the one side. I'm going to do a few more rows just so you can tell how it gets bigger, and then I'll show you the other way, so I will be right back. Alrighty, that's how that one looks. Increased, but that's the back. This is the front side. It's not as noticeable as the decreasing. It's also easier, but sometimes you have to start with it wider and then decrease, or you start with smaller and then increase, so that's why I'm showing both, how to do both. But that's how to do the knit it two ways way. I have no idea how to, or what to call that, because obviously I taught myself how to do it, so I don't know what you call it. But that's my preferred way to increase, because it just is very, very easy, and it's not noticeable at all. This is the back, and you can barely tell. And obviously, if you're adding more per row, it's going to increase the stitches a lot faster, but it's not as gradual looking, so if you want it fast, like to have a ledge, then you can do that. But also, it's not as gradual looking. There's also the increase way where you can just, like if you want a straight line out, you can just add stitches like this and then knit them like normal. But that's going to be like a straight line. So I'm not going to show that. I'm just showing how to do it gradually today. The other way to do it, though, that I'm going to, the other main way I'm showing today, is I'm going to just do it on the same thing. You just knit two, and then do what I said. Like, this is a lot more challenging. You just flip it around, and, like, you're putting stitches on a new... Get over. But it's just like you're putting stitches onto a new project. You just wrap it around. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. And then you just knit that normally, but it's really, really noticeable, so I don't necessarily... This is the first way I learned how to add things. So, yeah, it's noticeable, so it's not my preferred way to do it. I definitely prefer doing the other way. Just because it's a lot less noticeable. Like, this is still fine, it's just more difficult and noticeable than the other way, so. And again, I don't know if this is an actual, like, technique or not, it's just a way that I learned how to do it before I did the other, easier way. But you just flip it over and then knit it like normal. I'm gonna do the back real quick, I'll be right back. Knit it back around. I'm gonna do that way one more time and then I'll add a few more. But yeah, just do the same knit two, and then, unlike last time, push it down the needle so it won't slide off. And again, this way is more challenging for me, that's why I like doing the other way. But you just flip it around like you're adding a new stitch to a new project, or when you're counting out the stitches before you've even started. You're knitting, and then you just knit that loop that you just put on. So, this one's difficult to explain, and I don't really use it anymore because it works, and it's easy to do. It's just I would definitely prefer the other way of doing it versus this one, because yeah, this one, it definitely works, but the other way just looks better since I learned how to do that way. I've only used the other way, but this was the first way I learned how to. You can also loop it like on this side, but then it goes a little funky. It gets like super tight when you try to knit the next row, so that way, oops, that way doesn't really work. I almost forgot to add it. Yeah, just loop it around the needle that you're working with and pull it tight, and then knit it like you normally would a normal stitch. And yeah, it will be loose, but you pull it tight as it comes over. But yeah, that's all that way is. Again, that way is not my preferred way. And I'll do a few more just so you can see how that one looks versus the other one. Because that one might be the way you prefer doing it. I don't know. That's why I'm showing both. But I'm going to do a few more, and then I'll show you how that way looks. So I'll be right back. Did 3 or 4 rows of that? I'm not entirely sure. But you can kind of see how this one has more like gaps in it versus the first way. That's why I prefer the first way more, because the first way doesn't have gaps. Like, that way works, but it's not as good as the other way. Like, the other way is more challenging to figure out how to do it at first, but afterwards it gets a lot better and it has better results. But if yours has better results doing it that way, then do it the flippy around way. You know, the add stitches like when you're first casting on. But yeah, those are the 2 ways to add stitches to the thing. The first way, getting off, I had a hair on my hand. But the first way, this way, the knit, and then stick it through the back end, is definitely the easier way, and that's just how it works better for me. Then I'll do the other one on the other side. Then the flip around way, it looks better, it's easier, it's more challenging to figure out how to do, but it really is worth the challenge because it turned out looking better. So I'm gonna finish this, get to the other end, and then do the other way real quick. And then again, for this one, you take it around and loop it like you're putting on a new project to your needles, and then tighten it as much as you can because it's gonna be loose, and just knit it like normal when you're first starting your project. So yeah, those are the 2 ways, and I hope that was helpful as to how to figure it out. I definitely recommend trying the first way versus the other way, but if you're just learning, do the first way and you'll get it eventually. The other way, which is like not the gradual way that I was telling you about, is just scrunch it down like normal and then just add, just add like you're seriously doing a new project, just like I just did a few, for example. I honestly have no idea how many I just put on, so you should probably count when you do it. And then you just knit it like you're starting a new, project. Like, it's just gonna be the first row, but even though it's attached to what you're making already, it's just gonna make the blunt edge. So there's also this way if you don't want to do it gradually, and then you're back on to what you've been working on. So I'm gonna finish this row and then I'll show you how that looks, so I'll be right back. I only did 2 rows, but that's how it'll, like, you can see how it's just like a straight edge, how it just makes it bluntly longer versus it gradually increasing. This is just like, there's more. So there's also that way to increase if you're doing it like just instant, whatever your project is where it needs to be like instantly bigger. I don't use that one like ever. I did it when I was first learning how to. I would make, again, cat toys when I was learning a lot because they were small and it was a good learning project, but I would attempt to make a bear, so I would do the arms, and that's how I would do it. But anyway, that's how you do the blunt end increase thing. So hopefully, like, that was helpful. Again, that one was just kind of an ad because I remembered that you could also do that. It was mostly for this part. But I hope that this little triangle increasey thing helps you figure out a couple ways to do it. Again, just remember to, whichever side is, like, this is the front side I'm showing you, this is the back. But whatever side is the inside of your project, make sure that's the side that is facing away from you when you're increasing, just so that'll be the inside or the back of your project. But this is just the increases. It's basically, it looks exactly the same as when you decrease, but sometimes you need to increase it instead of decrease, so that's how you do that. And I hope those two ways were helpful, and one of them, or this way if you're doing a blunted, I hope that one of the ways that I showed help you continue on with your project and gets you unstuck. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I really do hope it helps, and I'm gonna take this apart now, yeah? Because I'm not keeping it, and this is very satisfying. So I'm gonna take this little guy apart now, and yeah, thank you for watching, and I really do honestly hope that that was helpful and got you to be unstuck on whatever you're making. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye!